Yes, my friends, the Miami Dolphins have taken a gut punch on the defensive line. Calais Campbell, who many fans and analysts expected to return to Miami for another season, shocked everyone by signing a one-year deal with the Arizona Cardinals. You've probably seen that before. This wasn't just a minor change on the NFL offseason tracker. It was a huge blow to Miami's defensive plans. The incompetent Chris Grier and the Dolphins front office were banking on Campbell's return. He played well last season and brought a veteran presence that simply can't be replaced with a snap of the fingers. Now the Dolphins are staring at a glaring hole next to Zach Sealer on the defensive line. And is there an easy fix in sight? That's what I'm going to show you right now. Before I go any further, hit the like button if you agree that Chris Grier should be fired immediately. I can't believe Ross is going to let him lead the way again. It's disheartening. I don't even want to buy a ticket to go see the game. I know a lot of you feel the same way. If you can, comment like this: I love the Miami Dolphins, despite everything. Let's be honest. Outside of Zach Sealer, who is a certified beast, there's not much to be excited about on this D-line right now. Benito Jones is back after a solid showing at nose tackle, but let's call it what it is. He's a below-average starter at best. There's no real depth. Did the guys sign future contracts? They're long shots to even make the final roster, and with only 3 picks in the top 100 of the draft, it seems like Miami's front office is in scramble mode. Defensive line, cornerback, safety, left guard, these are all real needs, and only 3 picks in the top 100? That's pressure. That's having to get almost every pick right. It's not impossible, but it's risky. Now let's talk about what's next. Free agency? Forget it. The drop-off from Campbell to the next best available defensive lineman is massive. We're talking Raekwon Davis, John Jenkins, and Taven Bryan. No disrespect, but if any of those guys are starting next to Sealer next season, Dolphins fans have every right to be concerned. They're depth pieces at best, not starting caliber players. That's why the focus has to shift almost entirely to the NFL draft. And there's one name at the top of that list: Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. This guy is built like a tank, 6 feet 3 inches, 331 pounds, but he moves like someone 50 pounds lighter. His explosiveness is off the charts for a man his size, and he's been a force on that Michigan D-line. 2 years of high-level production, a national championship, and tape that shows he can blow up plays in the backfield and chase down running backs 30 yards downfield. That's not normal. That's elite motor, elite hustle, and it's exactly the kind of guy you want next to Sealer. What makes Grant even more appealing is how well he fits what Chris Grier typically looks for: strong athletes with high football IQs and elite traits. His 10-yard split and vertical jump scream quick first step. And when you watch him on tape, it jumps out. He doesn't just eat up space, he disrupts. He pressures the quarterback, he stops the run, and he doesn't quit on plays. You can't teach that. You either have that mindset or you don't. And Grant's got it. But he's not the only name in the mix. Derek Harmon from Oregon is another first-round possibility. More productive than Grant in 2024 with 55 pressures, Harmon is a true interior disruptor. He's a bit more of a pass-rushing threat, which makes him similar to Sealer. That might make him slightly redundant, but the talent is undeniable. If the Dolphins were to trade down into the 20s and pick up Harmon, no one would be mad. The value is there. Then there's Walter Nolan. He's a bit of a wild card. Immense talent, great athleticism, but some off-field question marks have seen him slip in mock drafts. Still, 6.5 sacks last season, and a profile that screams first-rounder. He could be a steal if he slips to the late first or early second.
Now here's where it gets interesting. The Dolphins might not stop at pick 13. There's real talk about trading back into the first round to grab one of these top-tier defensive tackles if they go corner or safety early. That means using some of their 9 other picks to maneuver up and secure a guy like Harmon or Nolan. If they pull that off, that's a draft day win. But if they wait until pick 48, there are still some solid options on the table. Darius Alexander from Toledo is rising on boards, and TJ Sanders out of South Carolina is getting real buzz. Sanders might be the most explosive of the second-round targets and already has connections to Miami via past mock drafts. Then there's Tyleik Williams from Ohio State, a pure-nose tackle type that could plug the run next to Sealer and help free up the edge rushers to do damage. Don't sleep on Shamar Turner from Texas A&M either. He's a hybrid type, interior and edge flexibility, and the Dolphins are bringing him in on a top 30 visit. That's not a fluke. That means there's real interest. Same goes for Alfred Collins out of Texas and Deion Walker from Kentucky, who could be a third-round option. Here's the bottom line. With Calais Campbell gone, defensive line just shot to the top of Miami's priority list. The Dolphins need a dude, a real difference maker, on the interior. And with pick 13 and pick 48, they've got a shot to make it happen. Whether it's Kenneth, Grant, Harmon, or someone else, they have to land a player who can impact games immediately. Because if they don't, that D-line depth chart is going to be a problem all season long. So, Dolphins fans, here's the big question for you. Who do you want next to Zach Sealer? Are you riding with Kenneth Grant at 13? Or do you want to roll the dice, grab a DB early, and move up later for someone like Harmon or Nolan? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll be reading every one. Now, if the Dolphins decide not to go defensive line at 13 and instead prioritize someone like corner Will Johnson or one of the top safeties like Malachi Starks or Nick Manari, there's still a path to fixing that D-line problem, but it involves aggressive strategy. You have to think about packaging picks to move back into the first round or landing a high-value player at 48. And let's be real, the pressure to get that right is massive. Because if they come out of the top 50 picks without a legitimate difference maker on the defensive line, they're asking for trouble come December and January when it's time to win in the trenches. Let's break down the best second-round options a bit more because this group has a lot of upside even if it doesn't have the star power of the top three. First, TJ Sanders from South Carolina. This guy has been creeping up boards all offseason. He's built similarly to Kenneth Grant but brings a bit more explosiveness on tape. He was mocked to Miami earlier this year in a 2-round ESPN mock draft, and the fit makes sense. He's not just a space eater. He gets upfield, pressures the quarterback, and plays with a relentless motor. If Sanders is still there at 48, he might be the best blend of talent and value. Tyleik Williams is another fascinating piece of the puzzle. He's more of a true nose tackle, standing 6 feet 2 inches and 334 pounds. But don't let the size fool you. He made plays in both the run and pass game last season at Ohio State. He's a stout anchor who could lock down the middle and allow Miami's athletic edge rushers and linebackers to fly around. That's a strategic addition if Miami decides they want to get stouter inside and trust their edges and blitz packages for pressure. Then we've got Shamar Turner. This one deserves a bit of spotlight because of the Dolphins' confirmed interest. They're bringing him in on a top 30 visit. That's not just a due diligence move. Top 30 visits are reserved for serious evaluations, especially for guys who might not be consensus top picks but have traits you want to explore more closely. Turner is a tweener in some eyes, not quite big enough for traditional DT duties, not quite fast enough to be a full-time edge, but his tape shows flashes of both. If Miami wants someone who can slide inside and out like Campbell did last season, Turner could be that piece. And let's not sleep on Alfred Collins from Texas. He's got the size, the run-stopping ability, and the physical presence to be a real factor inside. He's 6 feet 5 inches, 332 pounds, and showed real flashes last year. He doesn't get the same media attention as some of the bigger names, but the Dolphins have shown they're not afraid to make value picks outside of the national spotlight. If they pass on D-line at 13 and some of the top names are off the board at 48, Collins could be a very solid fallback. So now it's your turn, Dolphins fans. If you're sitting in Chris Greer's chair, what's your move? Do you make the safe play and take Kenneth Grant at 13? Do you roll the dice on a DB early and try to trade back into round 1? Are you comfortable waiting until 48 and hoping someone like Sanders or Turner is still on the board? Or do you risk it all and try to find a hidden gem in the third? Let me know what you think in the comments. Which defensive lineman are you pounding the table for? Which strategy do you want to see on draft night? Because after missing on Campbell, the Dolphins have no choice but to get this right.